Okay, so we continue with the next episode of this interval course. Okay, so I just remind you what we discussed last time. Last time we discussed that there was an interesting and useful way of thinking of superconformal transformations in superspace. Okay, we discussed that superconformal transformations could be thought of as redefinitions of the z coordinate and the theta coordinate in a way that causes the derivative, the supersymmetric derivative d theta, to scale homogeneously. And we discussed what, in some detail how that worked and what that implied in general, in particular for the transformation of the transformation under superconformal transformations of superconformal primary fields. Okay, there's an interesting story that one can develop in more detail there. The only aspect of it that I'm going to use in today's class, or the aspect of it that I'll remind you, is this: that suppose you've got a superfield phi. Okay, suppose you've got a superfield phi. Okay, so that's some function of z bar, theta bar. So everything splits into holomorphic and anti-holomorphic, so I'll just think of z and theta in what I'm saying to you. Suppose you've got a superfield phi, and the superfield is a primary superfield in the sense that we define it. That is, it transforms homogeneously with a factor of del theta to the power 2h under superconformal transformations. Then in the last class we noticed that this implied that the zero component of the superfield was a superconformal primary operator in our old sense. Okay? That is, that the zero component of the superfield was an operator such that it obeyed the OPs that we in the earlier lectures demanded of it. That it was a conformal primary and was also annihilated by the supersymmetric generators in the appropriate fashion. Okay? And the second thing that we understood about this is that if this phi had an expansion phi plus theta times psi, then psi was equal to g minus half. Okay? So if we have a superfield, that is a superconformal primary in the sense that we defined in the last lecture, that is, it transformed under superconformal transformations in an appropriate fashion, in an appropriate geometrical fashion, then its zero component, spot that's independent of theta, is an ordinary superconformal primary. And superconformal primaries we've talked about in previous lectures. And this object is a descendant of the superconformal primary, in particular the g minus half descendant. Okay, so this of the discussion that we had last lecture, that would be interesting in other contexts to continue more fully and develop more fully for various reasons. The only part that I'm going to use in today's lecture and the next few lectures are these facts. So I'm reminding you of that. Any questions or comments about it? Okay. Now, before we proceed, and for the reason that we're going to use this, let me tell you about how the x and psi CFT can be combined in this nice geometrical fashion. Into a superconformal field. Okay. So, as you know, as we've already discussed, the conformal field theory made up of a free boson and a free fermion, both left moving and right moving. Okay, is a superconformal field. I'm going to explain how that works geometrically in the sense of superspace. Okay, so define a supermultiple x, which is equal to x plus right I theta times psi plus I theta bar times alpha. And plus theta theta bar. Okay. Now, this object can easily be used to write the whole free, or every interesting equation that we've written in the theory of either free bosons or free fermions can be written interestingly in terms of this superfield. Then let me start explaining how. To start with, the action can be written as follows. The action can be written as 1 by 4 pi d2 theta d2z d theta of capital X times d theta bar. Okay, here I've set alpha prime equals 2, or equivalently I've rescaled the scalar field in a way that was set alpha prime equals 2, just to make formula. So this. Okay, so that instead of 1 over 2 pi alpha prime, the scalar part of the action will come to 1 over 4 pi. We can restore that by redefining this x field, or the scalar part of the x field, as next. Okay, let's see how this works. Let's see what this action is. Okay, so capital X was this object. Now let's evaluate d theta of capital X and d theta bar of capital X. Oh, by the way, something I don't think I said last class that was obvious. Suppose you've got a primary superfield in the sense that we defined it. Then we take supersymmetric derivatives thereof. It remains a primary superfield. In more or less, it remains a primary superfield, but its H increases by half. Okay, and this you can easily convince yourself just from the fact that this d theta transforms in a nice way under superconformal transformations. So for X transformed in a nice way under superconformal transformations, and d theta does, the two things add up the way it adds up. Okay, so this big X here is formally a primary, is one of these superconformal superfields, and we make up an action taking d theta of X times d theta of X, which gives us other superconformal superfields. And although I'm not going to present this to you, one can check how this measured term cancels and transforms into superconformal transformations, and how these guys transform into superconformal transformations. This X by itself is a field of weight 0. Its lowest term is this guy X, which has weight 0. Okay, and one can check just geometrically that this object is geometrically superconformal. Okay, by just looking at how the volume factor transforms into superconformal transformations, and how these two. The transformations of these two are obvious, because X does not transform into superconformal. That's a statement that is weight 0 kind of object. Okay, and so then this d theta makes it transform in the appropriate fashion. Okay, and that's exactly cancelled by this volume factor. In terms of purely dimensional analysis, d theta of X is an object of weight half. So this is an object of weight half comma half under holomorphic and anti-holomorphic weight. Now d2z is weight minus 1 comma minus 1. Okay, but this d2 theta here has weight half comma half, not minus half comma minus half, as you might be tempted to think, because a fermionic integral is actually a fermionic derivative. It removes the coordinate weight. Okay, so that's how the weight stands. And the important point about the measure is that that not only is its weight minus half comma minus half, but it transforms under superconformal transformations like a primary of weight minus half comma minus half. So it exactly cancels the transformation. Okay? So the general rule is that in order to build a superconformally invariant action, you take this measure, this d to theta times d to z, and multiply it by a superfield, the superconformal primary of weight half comma half. Okay? And this is an example in which we built a half comma half. We built a half comma half. Okay? Fine. So let's proceed. Let's see how this works. So this del theta of x bar of x is what? This is equal to, well, remember what d theta was. D theta was equal to del theta, and the convention was it plus or minus? Somebody can remind me? Plus theta times del theta. D theta bar was equal to del theta bar plus theta bar del theta. Okay? So now let's evaluate this object on this object. X plus I theta psi plus I theta bar psi bar plus theta theta bar. Okay? So the first object becomes what? Let's do the del theta bar. That gives you 0 on x. Here it gives you I psi. This is 0. And this part is plus theta bar. Okay? Now let's look at this part. This part is 0 for any term that contains a theta. So it's non-zero only in theta times del zx. Okay? And it's non-zero on plus I theta theta bar del z of psi. Okay? So this first term is this object. Let's also evaluate the second term. So that's very simple. We get I psi bar plus theta times x. You just replace theta with theta bar. And del z by del z bar. So theta bar del z bar z plus I, probably minor, plus I theta bar theta del z bar. Okay, so that's the product of del theta of x and del theta bar of x. And then we're supposed to take this guy and integrate over d to theta. Now the integral over d to theta just picks out the term that is the coefficient of theta theta bar in this object. So where do we get theta theta bar? Well, one place is to take something that has theta theta bar in one of these terms and multiply by the constant. Okay? So from those terms you get you get the terms that are of the form psi bar del z psi bar plus psi del z bar. Okay? Which is the action for the free coordinates. The action that sets psi to be holomorphic and psi bar again. I'm skipping i's and so on. Okay, well, where else do you get theta theta bar? Another option is to multiply the theta term here with theta bar. And that gives you del zx del z bar x. Which is the action for the free bosons. Okay? Do you have any other options? Well, yes. There is another option. And the other option is to multiply is to multiply this guy with this guy, or if with this. Actually, how did we get right? Or x with x, exactly. That doesn't make exactly. That should work. Yes. Yeah, that's theta bar square and that's theta square. Exactly. Good. So what remains is an x squared. And that's the full action. Now this part is very familiar. That's the free action for free fermions. This part is very familiar. It's free action for free bosons. But what's this term and what's the field action? Well, this is the kind of thing that often happens when you try to write supersymmetric theories in superspace. in order to get things to transform nicely in the supermarket, we have to introduce what I call auxiliary fields. But dynamics tells you that these auxiliary fields have no dynamics. In this case, what's important here is that there are no derivative terms in this auxiliary. It's not a propagating field. And its equation of motion says it. You see. Equation of motion tells you that. Okay? Firstly, it's free, so it's an exact statement. But more generally, when you've got a field that's not propagating, it's infinitely massive, so it can always be integrated out. Giving you a local effective action. Okay? In this case, it's really trivial. It's like just omitting it. So everywhere there's an F. In the full quantum theory, this F will be set to 0. Okay? So F is just not there. This is usually the situation with auxiliary fields. In more interesting situations in a theory that's not free, F may not turn out to be 0, but may turn out to be something specified in terms of the probability. That's the way it happens with supersymmetric theories, 4 dimensions, for instance. The term that's called the F term there is equal to the superpotential. The derivative of the superpotential. Okay? But in this case, it's all very simple. Okay. So you say that this rather compact looking expression reproduces the action for both the free boson and the free boson. And could have been one way to introduce this idea of the superconformal Xi system. Okay, just one other quick comment about this exercise system in superspace before we proceed. We won't use it, but it's so sort of neat that it's worth saying. The thing that's really neat about this is that suppose you have x of theta. Okay, I'll only present. Let's call it theta 1 z 1, and I'm not writing in the notation, but it's also a function of theta 1 bar z1 times x of theta 2 z2. Okay, so suppose I try to work out the OP. Or let me try just to work out the expectation value. Okay, in superspace. Okay, what object do I get? Well, okay, I'll tell you what object you get, and then I tell you how to. Okay, let me first tell you the answer, and then we'll understand it. The answer is this is equal to, in the conventions in which we set alpha prime equals 2, it's minus of log of z1 minus z2 plus theta 1 theta 2, the whole thing passed. Okay. Now, there are two things about this answer that we should ask. Okay. Firstly, you see that this answer has. Okay. Firstly, let me check this answer. Let me check that this is consistent with everything that we know. So suppose we take the path that is independent of all the things. Okay. That should give us the free boson answer. So that's just setting theta 1 theta 2 equals 0 here, and that's the familiar answer that we know when we set alpha equals 2. Fine. If we take a term that has a theta here and no theta here, that should be the OP between x and psi. Right, because theta is the coefficient of psi in the first expansion, and no theta there is coefficient of. So there should be no term that has a theta in this thing, but no theta in this thing, and there isn't. Everything here has theta 1 multiplied by theta 2. Okay? Now let's look at the term that is theta here and theta there. Oh, by the way, this mod squared should be read as minus log of z1 minus z2 plus theta 1 theta 2 minus log of z1 bar minus z2 bar plus theta 1 bar. This clearly shows also the separation between holomorphic and anti-holomorphic. In F cross terms, anti-holomorphic, that also we know. And then the last thing to check is that this theta 1 theta 2 term turns out to be correct. So the coefficient of theta 1 theta 2 should be the OP between the two sides. So how do we get the coefficient of theta 1 theta 2? We Taylor expand this. So Taylor expanding this gives us minus theta 1 theta 2 by z1 minus z2. So this log, better to say, this log is equal to minus log of z1 minus z2 minus 1 over z1 minus z2 into theta 1 theta 2. This is equal to this. Why is it equal to that? Because any function of bosonic plus fermionic variables should be thought of is by definition equal to the Taylor expansion in the fermionic variables. And in this case, the Taylor expansion the Taylor expansion here just stops at first order because theta 1 square is equal to theta 2 square is equal to 0. So this is just a fancy way of writing this formula. And this part, of course, reproduces the OPs of the three fermions. Is this clear? Okay? So, firstly, this is a neat way of packaging it. But now I want to claim that we can guess this answer in superspace. We can guess this answer in superspace very simply. Yeah. And I've got to explain how that works. You see, if you remember when we were discussing super conformal symmetry long ago, we deduced that the form that correlation functions had to be functions of z1 minus z2 and one or two other things about the correlation functions merely from conformity. Okay, actually powers and the 2-point functions would vanish unless weights were equal. Now, you can deduce the functional dependence of correlation functions, in particular these 2-point functions, on coordinates and super coordinates by similar considerations. Okay? The thing that told us that something has to be a function only of z1 minus z2 was translational invariance. You move z1 by a, you move z2 by a, nothing should change. Okay? Now, there's a similar consideration here. So, well, clearly things have to continue to be functions only of z1 minus z2. Because translational invariance continues to be a subgroup of superconformal transformations. But in general, you might think that it could be an arbitrary function of theta 1 and theta 2 as well. Okay? So now let's impose the condition of invariance of these functions under fermionic translations. That is supersymmetry. Okay? Now you remember in the last class we deduced that under a superconformal transformation parameterized by this function v eta delta z, let me set v to z, so just the fermionic part. Delta z was equal to epsilon into minus I epsilon times theta and theta. This I is the irritating convention of solutions that we didn't use last class. Okay, let's write down the difference over here. And delta theta is equal to minus I epsilon times theta. Okay, so we absorb minus I and epsilon. Epsilon is just an infinitesimal. Okay, so under delta z, under delta z is equal to right. Under delta z is equal to epsilon theta eta and delta theta is equal to epsilon times theta, this whole thing was invented. I mean, all correlation functions must be invented. Okay? So let's try to see if we can find combinations of z1 minus z2, theta 1 and theta 2 that satisfy this proposition. The first combination is obvious. It's theta 1 minus theta 2. Because each theta shifts by eta, and that cancels in the difference. Okay? So this is the closest analog of z1 minus z2. Theta 1 minus theta 2 is obviously invariant under Fourier ratios. Okay. However, there is another more interesting combination. And that is z1 minus z2 plus theta 1 theta 2. Okay? This more interesting combination comes, stems from the fact that z and theta both shift under Fourier ratios. Okay? Let's see. Let's take delta of this object. Okay? So let's take delta of this object. So delta of this object with z1 gives us a theta 1, epsilon we get rid of. Epsilon can do is already theta 1 times theta. Z2 gives us minus theta 2 times theta. And theta 1, 2 we have to be careful about. Okay? So the first one gives us plus eta theta 2 plus theta 1 eta. And the thing that we have to be careful about is that eta is an active eta. Okay? So this guy, when we bring it here, picks up a minus sign. So this cancels this and this cancels this. Is this clear? Oh, did I do it the wrong way around? The way I wrote it, it adds. Cancelling. So I messed up with something. I messed up either with my transformation law or my relative sign between. You see, if I flip this relative sign, so I messed up on something and then we get messed up on. Okay, so positions here z1 minus z2 minus theta 1 theta 2. That's written, I think. Minus theta. Okay. Okay. So minus that. Right, so this should also be minus. Which we will have noticed if we go. Oh. If we will notice if we were more careful to compare exactly the footprints. Okay? So the lesson is that, notice by the way, that z1 minus z2 by itself is not invariant under supersymmetry. Right? z1 minus z2 transformed by this object, which needed this theta 1 theta 2 cancel. So there are only two objects that are invariant under both bosonic and fermionic translations. The first is z1 minus z2 minus theta 1 theta 2, and the second is theta 1 minus theta 2. So any correlation function that you write down has to be a function of only these two objects. Okay, so now we could have without any work written down this answer. The way we could have done it is that we could have said, well, we know the bosonic things, it's this. The only way it could be invariant is by fixing it up like this. Okay, now there could have been in addition some function of purely theta 1 minus theta 2, or some function of theta 1 minus theta 2 multiplying some other function of z1 minus z2. But then you could argue quickly using your knowledge of the right correlators that this would work. Okay? So superconformal invariance in this way unifies various aspects of the things that we've been studying. This geometric way of looking at superconformal values unifies various aspects of things we've been studying. Okay, just again, we're not going to use it very much, but just because it's sort of cute and these are the things we talked about, let me tell you about how this works for the BCCFT. Okay, for BCCFT, for any lambda, you remember we had a superconformal theory for the BCCFT combined with beta gamma for any value of lambda. And the way this works in superspace goes as follows. B you define as beta plus beta times B. And C you define as C plus beta times gamma. You might have wondered, how do I know which factor to put the beta on? You could deduce that from weights. If you remember, our BCCFT had weights, as it go, lambda and 1 minus 1. 2 minus 1? 2 minus 1.
2 and minus 1.
2 and minus 1. 2? Yeah, exactly. So 2 and minus 1. Lambda 1 minus 1. Okay? And the beta gamma system had related weights. So we have to remember that. So this, let's think of this as the weight of B. So lambda was 2. Let's think of this as the weight of C. So lambda was minus 1. And the beta gamma system had weights lambda minus half and 1 minus lambda I think plus half. Let's check whether that's true. Okay, so this whole object then has weight lambda minus half. Because theta has weight minus half. So this object is weight lambda minus half and this object. Okay. On the other hand, this whole object has weight lambda minus has weight 1 minus lambda. Because this object is weight 1 minus lambda and this object is weight 1 minus lambda. Okay? So that if you were to put them together in the superfield, this is basically the only way to do it. Okay? And now, putting that in this kind of superfield, what could the correlation options be? Well, firstly, what could the action be? This I'll let you check the integral b d theta c. Integral b d theta c works. So let's quickly see how that works. Remember the general rule. We want to get something that is of weight half. We want to get something that is of weight we want to get something that is weight half, half. Then under both left and right. Okay? The d theta bar makes this thing of weight half under the right. Right? It's the only thing that has any weight under the right movers, because B and C are transform purely under left movers. Okay? And now let's look. We said that this guy had weight lambda minus half, and this guy had weight one. And they're not using weight half. What's the difference?
Does anything prevent us from writing such a thing called polarization also? Like, normally, because this D has this weird thing, like the leading thing has a cognatic nature. So, generally, we think of superfields as having an expansion, but the leading thing is some scalar.
fermionic superfields even have 4 dimensions.
Using 4 dimensions
And an example is W1. You know, when you study gauge theories, there's the field strength superfield, this W alpha, which starts with a gauge. So, I mean, not only can you routinely do as such. Okay, yeah, but you're right. That this superfield here, C is anti-commuting, whereas B is a commuting, is a commuting object. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. And it's this d theta here that makes it always commuting plus anti-commuting. The fact that there are only one okay, you can try to work out, what the action looks like. You see, all the derivatives with respect to theta bar is 0. C depends on the unit. But there is the term that is theta bar times anti-holomorphic element. That's not 0 and in fact cancels against theta. Okay, so you have to keep, that's the only term that can contribute, and then you have to keep one of the two theta terms. You cancel the theta bar term because that goes from the derivative, but you need a theta to cancel this. So you can either keep the theta as a B expansion, which will give you a BC, or you can keep the theta in the C expansion, which will give you complement. Okay, so you can easily check that this will give you the action that we're used to. And now it's sort of nice that the BC, you can unify all our discussion of BC and beta gamma 2-point functions by the following device: B of Z1 theta 1, C of Z2 theta 2. This is equal to theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by Z1 minus Z2. Actually, I've written this Z1 minus Z2 minus theta 1 minus theta 1 theta 2 to be fancy, just to display its manifest invariance. But if we Taylor expanded this theta 1 theta 2, it's 0. It multiplies either theta 1 or theta 2. So that's saying that we don't need this term at all. Okay, but this term is equal to theta 1 minus theta 2 over Z1 minus Z2.
But this makes it
Manifestly superconformal, right? But if you want to read off in components, just drop this in your mind. And then the term that is proportional to theta 1 is B with C, and that gives you a Z1 minus Z2 for B and C. The term that is proportional to theta 2 is beta with gamma, that gives you one of Z1 minus Z2 for beta gamma. You can check all the various signs and so on, but it all works. Okay? So this very beautiful story here involving writing superconformal field theories, actually supersymmetric field theories as well. It's even more beautiful than superconformal. Right? It's the superconformal field theories in superspace. And this is a story we could develop and could talk a lot about, especially when we add to the amount of supersymmetry in the world sheet, in many interesting ways. But we're not going to pause to do that here, maybe later in this course. Okay? So, now we end our formal discussion of the development of superspace in 1 plus 1 dimension theory, and turn to using this to discuss scattering amplitudes of the world sheet of the string. But any questions or comments? Okay. Since we built this whole mechanism up, okay, there's one thing that I will immediately use. And this use we'll use. Or maybe I should first tell you why we're using that. Okay. Now let's return to developing scattering amplitudes in this sheet. Okay? We're interested in computing scattering amplitudes to start with only on the sphere. Okay, just tree-level scattering amplitudes so that we don't have to deal with issues involving. Okay. Now, at the end of last class we already discussed some issues that came up in this study. And the first issue that came up in the study went as follows. Look, we discussed how on the sphere, just the anomaly of the zero mode current of the phi. Okay. So for this discussion, I think it's useful to remind everyone of the results of the quantization of the beta gamma system. Okay. So you remember we had this beta gamma superconformal burst system, and you remember that we bosonized the system in the following fashion. Beta was equal to e to the power minus 5. Beta was equal to e to the power minus 5 times what was it? Del the symbol, and gamma was equal to e to the power plus 5 times theta, where zeta was of weight 0, eta of weight 1, and these two together, zeta and eta, formed a BC system. Also, this phi conformal field theory was a free boson theory, but with a certain background charge. Okay? So, the translational current of phi, now the operator del phi, was not a genuine primary field. There was an anomaly in the OP of T with del phi, and that anomaly led us to conclude that del mu J mu for this translational current was not 0, it was equal to some number times integral r. Okay? And that number worked out for the weights that were relevant to the superstring. That number worked out to be equal to 2 when integral r was what it is of the sphere. Okay? So del mu J mu. You remember there's very similar issues in the BC conformal field theory, where this del mu J mu was related to the number of zero modes of B minus number of zero modes of C. There's a very similar story here of the beta gamma system. You can think of it directly in bosonic language. You have this bosonic current, you compute the stress tensor OPU to the current. It gives you something not zero, and then using techniques we developed since the beginning, you translate that to an anomaly. Okay? And is there anything else I want to remember? Okay, the other thing I want to remind you is that phi of z, phi of 0 is equal to plus. I think you can't find the right page at the moment. I think it's plus z1 minus z2 if we test it to be minus z. Yeah, but it was the wrong side. The wrong side of the other. Okay, the plus minus, I'll get the plus minus straight. Yeah, in a little bit. I think it's minus. I mean, it was the wrong sign boson, but then we absorb that in writing vertex operators as e to the power phi and e to the power minus phi rather than e to the power I phi. So, boson we technically tell this. Okay, good. All of this sufficiently familiar that it doesn't seem mysterious. I know you don't remember the formulas I did today, lecture. But you know where to look it up, you know that you have up this. Okay, good. Now, you remember the issue that we first came up, and that went as follows. Look, as in a development, of scattering amplitudes in the bosonic string, we're motivated by the following idea. We've got some world sheet of the string, And there's a little tube coming in here, some more tubes coming in here, going out. Okay, that represents states coming. States are of cylinders, and this thing is basically a cylinder. Okay, we want to compute the amplitude for this object. And our idea was that this whole thing's conformally variant. So we map this conformally to this picture with the vertex operator using the state operator. Similarly, everything here will be mapped to the vertex operator insertion using the state operator. This intuitive picture would tell us that the objects that we should put at the origin are the vertex operators that correspond to the states. Now we know all the vertex operators that correspond to the states in the superstring. We worked this out in great detail over the last 2-3 months. And the vertex operators that correspond to states are appropriate lattice superconformal triangles. That e to the power minus 5 were in the NS sector, or e to the power minus 5 by 2 in the Raman sector. Because e to the power minus 5 was the vertex operator corresponding to the vacuum of the of the beta gamma CFT in the NS sector, and e to the power minus 5 by 2 was the vertex operator corresponding to the vacuum of the beta gamma CFT in the Raman sector, as we worked out in detail. Okay? But if we really implement this, it can't really work. It can't really work because suppose we're interested in scattering 4 NS sector fields. We get a factor of e to the power minus 5 in each of these objects times whatever comes from the matter part of the problem. Now, we've said that correlation functions vanish unless the net charge in the phi of insertions on the sphere is equal to 2. Had there been no anomaly in the translation current, that 2 would have been 0. Okay? When it's not 0, something mixed. Okay? So, if we use the rules that we just insert vertex operators as obtained from the state operator map, okay, we use that rule, then the boundary gets 0 unless we are interested in scattering 2 guys. With 2 scattering, 2 is not scattering. Okay? So something's wrong. Okay? Now, how do we cure this problem? Okay. I'm going to first give you the technical answer. You get 0 because the net charge of that whole thing, for instance, with K scattering, with K NS sector object, would be K. But the only way to get non-zero correlators is that the net charge of the sphere is 2. You see, you should think of it this way. Suppose you should think of it like initial time, final time. You've got some operators inserted at initial time. If there's no anomaly in the current, then the charge of the operators inserted at initial time is equal to the charge inserted at final time. Because so ingoing initially, outgoing finally, that gives you net insertion 0 for the charge operator. Now, because this current has an anomaly, we don't get 0, but we get something fixed. That's equal to 2. So then, the only way we get non-zero correlators, okay, is if its net charge is equal to 2. Or perhaps more formally speaking, suppose you had some e to the power m1 phi, let's say e to the power 5, e to the power 5, e to the power 5, e to the power 5. And had translations in phi really been symmetry, then let's translate this object. Okay, let's translate by A, then we can prove that this object is equal to itself, then e to the power 4A. Which means that this contraction is 0. Now, this translation is not quite as symmetric because there's an anomaly factor, which reduces this e to the power 4A to e to the power 4A minus 2. But the amplitude is 0 unless 4A is 2. Okay? So it can't be that we just put the vertex operators due to the states and under the state operator map inside our correlates. That doesn't work. It will just be the same. Okay. Now, okay. Now, at the end of the last lecture, I told you the way out. You see, even in the mosaic string, we didn't really put the vertex operators dual to the states under the state operator map. Always. There were two options. There were some vertex operators that were integrated with the sheet. And those guys had no C insertion. The C insertion is what you get by the state operator map. Okay? On the other hand, there were the guys that were not integrated and they had the C insertion. So you see, the careful analysis of the path integral that gave us string theory told us that it was wrong to think of these vertex operators all being as the guys you got from the state operator map. Some of them were, but others were of this integrated nature. Okay? And so in the course set, they did not come from the state operator map. So you might think, well, what I'll do is just by hand put two of these, let's say that we're dealing with 4 NSF cachets. I'll put two of these operators with an e to the power minus 5. And the other two operators I'll remove the e to the power minus 5. That's like removing the C's in the integrated vertex operators in mosaic string theory. You might be tempted to think, okay, that's a good thing to do. But if you did that, nothing would work. What would not work? Well, for instance, the answer would depend on which operator you remove the C, e to the power minus 5 from. And so on. I mean, you get all kinds of random operators. You won't get decoupling or negative cross states and so on. And if you just do random things in string theory, it doesn't work. Okay. So what is the right way of thinking of this? Well, I'll first tell you the words, and then we'll understand this more technically. The words go as follows. Well, words, this is so much as an analogy. The analogy goes as follows. You see, in the mosaic string, apart from stripping away the C, what we did was integrate the operator over the worksheet. Now, integration here is replaced by the idea of integration. You see, integration over the worksheet made sense for things that where we were fixing worksheet translational and so on semantics. The beta gamma have to do with superspace. So you might think what you should do is to strip away to the power. Suppose you have superconformal primary of this sort. Strip away this guy, but then also take O and integrate it over superspace. This is equal to G minus half tilde. Okay? That is, replace O by the integral over superspace of O and then strip away to the power minus 5. That would be our way of making an analogy with what we did in the mosaic string. Okay? This turns out to be the correct answer. Which, and it's for this reason that I introduced the superspace business. Just basically to motivate the statement. However, in order to see that it's the correct answer, to see that it makes that it's a sensible answer, okay, we need to do a little more work. So I'm planning to do that this time. But firstly, you understand this answer. So the answer is that, for instance, if we were scattering only Ramon sector operators, sorry, only never-short sector operators, say we were doing scattering of 4, we would choose 2 to be in the usual picture with e to the power minus 5 times O. And 2 of them have no e to the power minus 5, but they're always replaced by b2 theta of O. That is G minus half, G minus half. That's the rule. Of course, if you were scattering n, you would choose 2 to be in the usual picture, and the remaining n minus 2 to be in this picture. Well, as I'm going to show now, for instance, it will not matter which one is. You choose how. This will not mess up. Well, we'll see. You see, yeah, there are immediate issues here. Because this object is not a superconformal primary. This object was. This object isn't. So there are immediate issues about whether this all makes sense. Okay? I'm going to explain to you that it does. But this is the rule. Do you understand this? Do you understand the rule?
The fact that this particular on the operator is So basically, the rule is to take leave the two operators, and for the rest of the lines, instead of e to the power minus 5, replace them by g minus half.
Right. G minus half, G plus half, of course, is not an object, it's an operator. It's a descent. Replace O by 1.
Replace e to the power minus 5 a.
Replace e to the power minus 5O by a particular descent. Okay? Now let me try to explain to you why this rule makes sense. Okay. I'll keep this on the board because okay. Now, in order to see why this rule makes sense, let me start from a slightly arcane place. And the arcane place is in clearing up a loose end from our discussion of bosonization of the beta gamma. Okay. We claimed that the beta gamma system was bosonized into this whatever, zeta, eta, phi system. That was our claim. And the concept of that claim is that every correlation function computed in the first theory can be computed in the second theory as well, when you make the appropriate replacements of operators. And you remember that our proof of the statement was essentially to say that the poles and zeros of OPs assured us that correlation functions of the two sides would be equal just because they have the same poles and up to some overall normalization. One could argue about it. Okay. However, there is one serious issue here, and that is that overall normalization might be zero if you use X wrong. And we run into that serious issue when studying this theory. What am I doing next? See, suppose we were interested in computing the kind of correlation functions that arise in string theory. Okay? The kind of correlation functions that arise in string theory. That is, we have insertions of e to the power minus 5 times some matter stuff. The matter is irrelevant. The discussion will be announced. Then insertion of e to the power minus 5 plus 5, but no insertions of the beta gamma CFTs, of this zeta CFTs. Okay? Then, all the correlation functions computed in the bosonized language would be zero. For very simple reason. The simple reason is that zeta has weight 0, and so has a 0 molar increment in particular. It's a constant. It's function. Okay? And integral over that 0 mod gives you 0 because the insertions that we're interested in have no factors of zeta. Okay? And similarly, if we were computing just an insertion of beta and gamma, the way we would do that is by contracting zeta with eta, contracting phi with phi, but that leaves nothing to soak up the integral of the 0. So the idea that insertions of, making this replacement that you get and just putting it into the zeta eta field there, that will give you the same correlators, that can't be quite right. It's always reduced. At least in examples where we know that the beta gamma correlator is now 0, we get 0. Is this clear? So what is the right rule? You see, what was our derivation really? Our derivation really said that, if we've got these non-zeros, if we've got these non-zero correlation functions, they have to be proportional to each other. So is there a way of salvaging this derivation? It sounds bad, right? It sounds like leading you down the government path. I made a very formal argument, but it doesn't make any sense. argument is salvageable. And salvaging, when it's taken through, is very important. And the formal argument tells you that it is salvaged if you is correct for the following proposition. That is, for any beta gamma insertion in your conformity theory, you make the corresponding insertions of these operators, but also add by hand a single insertion of zeta. Okay? Because we're not interested in the beta gamma conformity theory for itself, let's restrict our attention to those correlation functions that arise in string. Namely, the correlation functions in which correlation functions are totally independent of zeta and eta. They only depend on phi. Okay? We calculate those correlators, we do the usual games in the phi CFT, but we also put by hand a single insertion of the operator zeta at some point in the Virginia string. Now you can ask, at which point in the Virginia string? And the answer is it doesn't matter. Because the only role of that insertion is to soak up the integral of the 0 mole. So that integral gives us factor of the function. It gives us the 0 mole function evaluated at that point. But because zeta is a constant, it is weight 0, the 0 mole is a constant function. Okay? So the constant function is the same evaluated at any point. Okay? So this is a very important point. It says that when we are computing correlation functions in string theory, we're supposed to compute the correlation function in the phi CFT and the eta zeta CFT. The eta zeta CFT plays almost no role. It plays almost no role in anything, except for one thing. That if you just did the integral over the eta zeta CFT, you get 0, unless you also have the insertion of zeta. So let's just put that there. And that insertion does not, it continues to give you translationally invariant correlation functions. Because its only role in life is to soak up the zeta. There's a more elaborate discussion that can be had if you are interested in more elaborate correlators involving non-trivial functions of zeta. Yeah? But we won't get into that. Okay. So, now we understand that the kind of correlation functions that we're interested in calculating in string theory have an insertion of this zeta. Now, you might be worried that this insertion messes up many things in string theory. Okay? And the kind of thing that might worry you is the following. The kind of thing that might worry you is the following. Look, suppose I've got some bunch of vertex operators inserted, and I've also done the insertion of my zeta. Now, this vertex operator is BRST closed. Okay. Suppose I add something BRST trivial. So I put a BRST trivial insertion. So some operator with a BRST count circulating. So Q BRST count. Now, this is always 0. This is supposed to be 0. Okay? BRST trivial operators are supposed to be coupled. The way it usually works is that this is a sphere actually. You take this circle and unwind it around to the other end of the sphere. That leaves little loops surrounding each of these guys. They're all BRST closed. So those loops vanish. Oh, what about this guy? So it leaves a little loop circulating this guy. Okay? Does that vanish? I mean, what's going on? Okay? So this motivates you to study the following object. It motivates you to study the object that you get by integrating J BRST on zeta. It's clear your interest to understand that object if you want to understand decoupling of data. Okay? So we didn't understand it actually. Because it turned out to be an interesting object for the reasons we described earlier. Doesn't sound like a moment. We're going to study in more detail that you might think is necessary. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. want to do is to compute this. So what we have to do is we have to compute the pole in the BRST current with Z. We want the pole. We want the path that goes right. Okay? Now, of course, there's a straightforward way of doing it. The straightforward way of doing it is to take the expression for the BRST current that we derived a couple of months ago in terms of beta gamma, bosonize that expression, and then do the computation. That is straightforward and painful. And you want to do it. That's not the approach I'm going to follow. I'm going to follow Kulchinski to give you a trick derivation of this residue, which is sort of quite neat. Okay. Now, okay. So the strict derivation of the object I'm interested in. Well, one more thing I should write down here. I should write down the structure of the BRST. Got it. Let me clear this part out. Okay, first I'm just going to quote to you what the BRST current is. I'm quoting 10.5 from 0.21 in Kulchinski's book. There's something we'd written down long ago. CTM plus gamma TS. This is the matter part, bosonic part, matter fermionic. Matter bosonic stress tensor, matter fermionic stress tensor. Plus BC delta. Plus 3/4 del C beta. Plus 1/4 C del beta. Minus 3/4 C beta delta. Minus beta or minus B gamma squared. This is the expression for the BRST current. This horrible huge expression is the expression for the BRST current. Okay, so it's this object that we have to take with zeta and find. Okay, so how are we going to do it? Well, the way we're going to do it is to note two things. The first thing we note is that there is something sort of obvious. Suppose I take the gamma field and I look at the OP with any function of beta gamma. This function is a function of beta gamma for evaluating 0. Can somebody tell me what we get? Suppose I try to compute this OP. I take gamma of z with any function of beta and gamma, no derivatives, just beta and gamma, evaluated 0. What am I going to get? What are the contractions? Gamma contractions what? Gamma OP. I'm looking for the pole part. The singular part.
Consider primary nuclear final expansion.
Well, I mean,
no,
beta and gamma are commuting things. But it doesn't matter, they expand it, and then what?
then you use the opposite gamma
Betas? So suppose you, with gamma with beta what? It's 1 over z in some side. What about gamma with beta squared? 2 beta, exactly. 2 beta over z. What about beta to the n? Would be n beta to the n minus 1. Okay. So you see that this is going to be del f with respect to beta of beta gamma by z plus z. Okay, so this is a quite general statement. Just sort of more or less obvious. Okay, so you take any gamma with any function of beta and gamma, and that function gets the part that is irregular, the part that is singular, Yes, it's just the differential of their function. Okay. Now the second thing that is a little dodgier to understand is the following. You might remember that you might remember that the well, let's just put it. Okay. Let's evaluate the OP between beta and e to the power plus or minus 5. Let's evaluate between gamma, right, and e to the power. Okay, so let's evaluate this OP. Now you see, e to the power minus 5 evaluated. Let's see. Gamma is e to the power 5 times eta. The eta goes through. So what we want is the e to the power 5 to the power minus 5. The e to the power 5 to the power minus 5 OP is very simple. You use the fact that log, that the 2-point function is minus log. So this gives you z times normal ordered. Where is it? Beta of z e to the power 5 of z e to the power minus 5 of z. Okay, and this has to take series. Okay, so the thing that we note here is that gamma of z with e to the power minus 5 has an OP that starts as z. Now, when we were dealing with fermionic fields, we were very familiar with such OPs. When we were dealing with fermionic fields, we were very familiar with such OPs. For instance, C with itself had an OP that started with Z, just from anti-code. C of 0 times C of 0 is 0. Just until expanding, you start with Z. Okay? But this is more unusual when we're dealing with bosonic fields. Okay? So what this operator is, so the question I'm going to ask is, suppose I were to try to rewrite this operator as some function, as some operator purely in beta gamma. Okay? Suppose I was going to try to write it as some insertion in terms of beta gamma. What kind of insertion can I write that would have the property that if I took a gamma field near it, this object would go to 0 like Z if these points approached. Okay, so this, you see, what this insertion is some insertion that forces the gamma field to go to 0 where you insert that object. Okay? And we're aware, of course, of a local function that does that. It's the object delta. Suppose you put an insertion of this object into the path. Then you would be integrating not over all fields, but only over those field configurations such that gamma, the value of the field gamma was 0 at the origin. So then in that path integral, if you try to evaluate an insertion of gamma near 0, this thing would appear in Taylor expansion. Okay? And so would start off as Z. an interpretation, you know, there are one of the things you want to check with this interpretation. This is quite a singular sort of insertion. So, I'm not sure if you think of it as a literal formula, a way of thinking. But anyway, there is a way of thinking of this formula, at least in some sort of mnemonic way, of thinking of e to the power minus phi as the insertion of the delta function of gamma. Notice it's not the delta function of beta. Because if you take e to the power minus phi and take the OP with beta, that will give you a pole rather than a factor z. Because the other way. Okay? So it's again, there are various things that you might want to think about and check here. But let's just move on, accepting this rough interpretation. If for no other reason, just as in order to motivate this quick and dirty derivation of what we're going to get here, you should think of this as perhaps motivation. This serious derivation would be much more involved, but much more straightforward. That is bosonizing behavior that's been calculated. Okay, so if you don't like this, there are many things to exploit. You might be able to make this interpretation solid, but there are many things to exploit. We're not going to try to do that. Let's just go ahead. But any questions about this?
For example, what happens if we have such a thing with beta?
Well,
what happens if we have such a thing with beta?
With the beta field, we get 1 over z. We get a 1 over z there.
The delta function values?
What? The delta, yeah, that is not obviously. It would look like you should get delta prime, right? Maybe. Let's see, maybe we can make that adjustment. Well, let's see. Okay, let's try to approach this. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this work, but suppose I try to approach this object with beta. Suppose I take beta of z and approach e to the power minus phi. Okay, then according to this formula, what I'll get is delta times of z times divided by z times e to the power minus phi of z e to the minus phi of 0. Everything wrong. Now the pole has e to the power minus 2 phi. So what we expect in general graphs is that beta with this object would give you the derivative of that function with respect to gamma. Okay? By z. So this interpretation would work if you could argue that for some reason that e to the power minus 2 phi was the operator that was derivative delta prime over. Now, e to the power minus 2 phi gives you a higher order 0 over. You see, it gives you square. So it's sort of like it sets even the first derivative to 0. Okay? So it's not obviously consistent. Okay? But as you said, this is the kind of exercise that if this interpretation could be made completely kosher, and perhaps it can, there are many exercises of this sort that one would want to undergo. Okay? But it's not obvious that it's not working. And Polchinski asserts it's true. He's generally thought such things through. Okay, so it's probably true that if you do these exercises, you'll land on your feet. Okay? In fact, there's one such exercise that we'll try to do now. Okay, we don't have the talk today, so we'll go on for 15-20 minutes extra. Okay, great. Fine. So let's move on. Okay. So now what we're going to try to do is to take this construction and use it to find, along the lines that Jyotirmoy was suggesting, use it to find how this works. Okay. So how do we do that? So what we need to do is to use this formula that, okay, what we're going to claim is that this object, zeta, has been represented theta of beta. I know you're thinking this is getting a little weird. But it's okay. You see, theta is a function that makes sense only in one dimension. Well, it makes sense in all dimensions, but it's a local operator only in one dimension. Otherwise, it would be a line operator, a sheet operator. Okay? But essentially, we have one dimension because everything's analytic. Everything's functional safe. So theta of beta is an insertion in the path integral that sets beta to 0 everywhere on the left of the insertion and leaves beta arbitrarily to the right. It's 0 if theta is no, right, you said that wrong. We shouldn't confuse the dimensionality of. Sorry, theta of beta makes sense for a real function beta. I should confuse the dimensionality. It's not theta in position space, it's theta in field space. Sorry, we'll draw that. Okay, so it just says, it's doing the integral of over only positive values of beta. Okay? Of course, the local operator, so it's doing value, it's saying that but everywhere else you do the integral over all values of beta. But at this point, you do the integral over only positive values of beta. Okay, and I'm going to claim that this beta object can be interpreted as inserting theta of beta. Now let's see how we make this claim. I'm going to make this claim by doing the following thing. I'm going to compute gamma of z with theta of beta at 0. Okay, according to our general formula, I should get this object. The derivative of the theta function. So this should be equal to delta of beta. This should be equal to delta of beta of 0 divided by z minus z, right? Blah, blah, blah. Okay? But let's see what it is if I make this identification. So what I'm going to do is compute gamma of z times, but I'll replace gamma, so that's e to the power phi of z, eta of z times zeta of 0. Now the eta zeta CFT is the 1 over z. So as far as the pole goes, this is e to the power phi of 0 over z plus higher order. And we had that e to the power minus phi was the delta function in gamma, but by exactly the same logic, e to the power plus phi was the delta function in beta. Okay? So if you take this, so this is equal to this. If you take our earlier interpretations, correct? So that forces you to interpret zeta, this object, zeta, beta, just by integration. Okay? It could be theta, beta plus any function of gamma. But just from the fact that the beta, eta, CF, OP is completely non-singular, that function is non-singular. And that's completely non-singular because sorry, the gamma eta, what am I saying? Yeah, sorry, the gamma, the beta zeta just because we have zeta and zeta here. Because the beta zeta will be completely non-singular. Fine. Okay, great. So we concluded, if we believe all this delta function business, we concluded that this zeta field here should be interpreted as theta. Okay? So now we're finally coming to the point, because zeta is what we want when we complete, until this VR is finished. Okay, fine. So now let me immediately compute what JBRST on zeta is. This whole exercise, all for the last 15 minutes, was in order to express zeta as a known function of gamma and beta. Because then we can use just the unbosonized beta gamma expression for JBRST in order to compute that. Okay, so now we've achieved this, so we just have to proceed now. Now simple calculation. So the calculation goes as follows. We take this guy and we act on theta of beta. So first it's a function only of beta. So the only singular OPs that we're going to get come from gamma. So we have to correct all the terms that involve gamma here. We have to correct all the terms that involve gamma here. And act. Okay. So we've got gamma here. We've got gamma here, gamma here, gamma here, gamma here, gamma here. Okay. Now, this term has two gammas. Okay? So contracting it will give you two derivatives of the theta function. So give you a term that is of the form beta times delta prime of beta times b times delta prime. Okay? On the other hand, this object here has many terms. This object here has many terms. The term that I'm going to be interested in involves the matter piece. So we will get a term in this OP. We get a term here of the form gamma, just TF times delta. also get other terms involved. Let's say, for instance, here we will get a term that is del C beta times delta beta. But that is 0 because beta times delta beta is 0. Okay? So anyway, these are the only two terms of it. Okay, so the claim is that when you work it out carefully, perhaps you should think of this just as economic, unless you carefully try to justify it. But the claim is that in the end, you can work out this BRS term and you get the answer, I mean it's OP, and you get the answer KB Z times theta times zeta of 0 is equal to minus 1 by Z squared V of Z delta prime of beta 0 plus 1 by Z TF of Z delta . Okay, so now we finally we've got this thing that is of interest to us, right? In particular, we find that the pole part, the part that we were really interested in, involves TF times this delta beta of 0. Okay, delta beta of 0, we know what that is. That formula is in Goldeney's language. It's e to the power I. E to the power I. Okay, so now let's go back to our to the thing that we started talking about. Okay, we were first saying that what about BRST current? What about the BRS? What if we take this BRST current and surround this fake insertion of zeta field? Okay, we don't get 0. It looks like we just computed what we get, and indeed we don't get 0. However, it is sort of obvious what's going on here. Although we don't get 0, whatever we get has no zeta left in it. This is purely functions of phi. And so it will vanish. The path integral will vanish because the integral over zeta 0. Precisely the reason that the zeta was needed in the path integral there in the first